Hello to you all. This is an introduction of African economy. The continent of Africa is blessed and full of natural resources, as from the north to the south and the east to the west. For mineral resources in one hand, there are diamonds, gold, iron ore, bauxite, aluminium, uranium, phosphate, and many others. On the other hand, there are varieties of agricultural produce and fertile soil. As for tourism, it is full of wildlife, sea creatures, beautiful landscape, woodland, deep forests, waterfalls, lakes, running water from hills to the valleys, the wonderful sea view, the cloud, the snow, the rainbow reflecting on the mountain from end to end, the inactive volcanic mountains, the sand dune, the desert, and the semi-arid areas. You may find all these natural resources in the continent of one race Africa. But yet, the Africans are dying of hunger, drought, malnutrition, immigrating to other continents for survival. If the question is to be answered, who are responsible for the impoverishment of African economy? Let us look into the economy of each one of the countries in Africa. Then you may give your opinion if wish. The world is part of Africa, and Africa is part of the world we live in. Do not destroy the wonders and beauties of our only beloved earth. Thank you so much. The economy of Equatorial Guinea. Pre-independence Equatorial Guinea counted on cocoa production for hard currency earnings. Since 1959, it has been the highest producer in Africa. The discovery of large oil reserves in 1996 and its subsequent exploitation have contributed to a dramatic increase in government revenue. In 2004, the country became the third largest oil producer in Sub Saharan Africa. Its oil production has risen to 360,000 barrels per day. Forestry, farming, and fishing are also major components of GDP, though subsistence farming predominates. Although pre-independence Equatorial Guinea counted on cocoa production for hard currency earnings, the neglect of the rural economy under successive regimes has diminished potential for agricultural growth. However, the government has focused its intention to reinvest some oil revenue into agriculture. A number of aid programs sponsored by the World Bank and the IMF have been cut off since 1993 because of large oil revenues. The government has been unsuccessfully trying to agree on a shadow fiscal management program with the World Bank and the IMF. Businesses in general are owned by government. Moreover, undeveloped natural resources include titanium, iron ore, magnesium, uranium, and alluvial gold mining in the country. Development which remained stronger in 2005 and 2006, followed by oil and gas. There is ongoing additional development of commercially viable oil and gas deposits as well as new exploration in other offshore concessions. Equatorial Guinea has other largely unexploited human and natural resources, including a tropical climate, fertile soils, deep water ports, lack of skilled labor before the independence in 1968. The agricultural sector, which historically was known for cocoa of the highest quality, has never fully recovered. Timber is another main source of foreign exchange after oil. Timber export production increased steadily during the 1990s. Wood reached a record of 789,000 cubic meters in 1999 as demand in Asia, mainly China, gathered pace after the 1998 economic crisis. Most of the production, mainly okume, goes to exports, and only 3% is processed locally. Environmentalists fear that exploitation at this level is unsustainable and point out to the permanent damage already inflicted on the forestry reserves on Bioko. Equatorial Guinea's policies, as defined by law, comprise an open investment regime, qualitative restrictions on imports, non-tariff protection, and many import licensing requirements were lifted when in 1992 the government adopted a public investment program endorsed by the World Bank. The government of the Republic of Equatorial Guinea sold some state enterprises. It is attempting to create a more favorable investment climate, and its investment code contains numerous incentives for job creation, training, promotion of non-traditional exports, support of government projects, and indigenous capital participation. Freedom for repatriation of profit, exemption from certain taxes and capital and other benefits. There is little industry in the country, and the local market for industrial products is small. The government seeks to expand the role of free enterprise and to promote foreign investment, and looking forward in creating an atmosphere to attract foreign investors. The Equatorial Guinean budget has grown enormously in the recent years, as royalties and taxes on foreign company oil and gas production have provided new resources to a once poor government. Oil revenues account for about 2/3 of government revenue, and VAT and trade taxes are the other large revenue resources. Imports into Equatorial Guinea also are growing very quickly. The government has expressed interest in privatizing the outmodel electricity utility. A French company operates cellular telephone service in cooperation with a state enterprise. The government is anxious to encourage greater U.S. investment in agriculture, fishing, livestock, and tourism among targeted sectors. Infrastructure is generally old and in poor condition. Surface transport is extremely limited at present, with little more than 700 kilometers of paved roads. The African Development Bank is helping to improve the paved roads from Malabo to Luba and Riaba. The Chinese are undertaking a project to link Mongomo to Bata on the mainland, and the European Union is financing an interstate road network linking Equatorial Guinea to Cameroon and Gabon. Road maintenance is underway. Electricity is available in Equatorial Guinea's larger towns thanks to 3 hydropower facilities and a number of generators. In 1999, the American company CMS Nomeco built a 10-megawatt electricity plant in Malabo, financed by the government, which came in use in mid-2000, and plans to double capacity are advancing. This plant provides improved service to the capital, although there are still occasional outages on the mainland of Bata City. However, water is only available in the major towns and is not always reliable because of poor maintenance and mismanagement. Some villages and rural areas are equipped with generators and water pumps, usually owned by private individuals. Parastatal Jetesa, a joint venture with a minority ownership stake held by a French subsidiary of Orange, provides telephone service in the major cities. The regular system is overextended, but Orange has introduced a popular GSM system, which is generally reliable in Malabo and Bata. Equatorial Guinea has 2 of the deepest Atlantic seaports of the region, including the main business and commercial port city of Bata and Malabo. There are both air and sea connections between the 2 cities of Malabo and Bata. A few aging Soviet-built aircraft operated by several small carriers, one state-owned and the others private, constitute the national aircraft fleet. There are international connections out of Malabo to Madrid and Zurich in Europe, and to Cotonou, Douala, and Libreville in West Africa. Animal husbandry. Cattle and poultry production is rapidly reaching its pre-independence level of self-sufficiency with the financial help of the African Development Bank. Fishing. The fishing industry gained strength through the 1980s and is now almost entirely modernized. A tuna processing plant went into operation in 1990. R.M.B subsists almost entirely on fishing and retains its traditional preeminence in offshore whaling and turtle gathering. Bioko is also a major fishing center, the chief catches being perch, tuna, mackerel, cod, pig, shark, and crayfish. Forestry. Timber from Rio Muni is Equatorial Guinea's leading export. Forests cover over 62% of the land area. The Rio Muni area on the mainland produces okume and akoga from rainforests of considerable age. Even though the government has given permission to foreign farm, exploitation is difficult due to infrastructure problems. The government enacted a new forestry action plan in 1990 with an effort to strengthen the development in the sector. Terrain. Coastal plains rise to interior hills. Inlands are volcanic.